Hey guys, today's video is about some neuroplastic pain that I experienced, how I was able to reframe it, and how it actually quickly went away. So basically what happened was I was getting my car checked out and they told me all of the things that needed to be repaired, and it was more than I thought. It was about double what I thought it would be. And I noticed as I scheduled for the service and I was leaving that my hand started hurting. It felt like I had bumped it on something, but I hadn't bumped it on anything. In fact, I'd almost felt like I'd had that pain before from bumping my hand on something. But again, I hadn't bumped my hand on anything, so I just got really curious. I had also recently coached someone about hand pain, and we looked up what Louise Hay says about the hand, and it has to do with grasping and holding on to and letting go and releasing of things in their time. So I started thinking about that in relation to spending this money on my car and releasing that money. I think for me, since already I'm very curious about this work and I didn't have a big story about that area and, pain lasting a long time in that area. And again, since I am curious and like to come up with a reframe or another meaning of how my body's communicating with me, it just made sense to think of the emotional thing that was going on for me, finding out the amount of money, and it was more than I expected, and I was thinking of giving over that money to them, and that's when my hand started hurting. So for me, these little things are just indications of how our body communicates with us, and how when we react calmly, when we think of what our body could be telling us, and even find some kind of reframe that makes sense to us, and emotionally I was calming myself by saying these things that I also do believe about my car and about maintenance and about keeping it healthy like you would keep a body healthy. And admittedly, if you have a lot of stories and you've had the pain that you're dealing with for decades and many people have talked to you about it, your story is going to be harder to change, but you might find some of these little new sensations in your body that come and go very quickly when you are attentive to them and curious, not worried, not fearful, and take from them some other meaning, and then it can make sense other than, I physically did something to my hand, which I knew I hadn't. The more I do this work, now that I don't have chronic symptoms, I'm more aware of these subtle changes in my body, the subtle subconscious thoughts that are behind them. And it gets to be a way of fine-tuning some of those thoughts and emotions that I might have subconsciously that are not serving me.